Okay, this is my Cobra 134, which I bought at the flea market this Sunday. It is a very nice old school 23 channel crystal synthesized radio. Very high quality construction, made in Japan. I believe probably came out at about 1973 or so, I assume, because the Cobra 138 came after this, and I believe that came out in 1975 or so. So I assume this is probably about 1973 or so. Not completely sure. It is a sideband radio. Very high quality construction. I have huge respect for these old Japanese made electronics. I'll give you guys a quick tour of the chassis because I know you electronics geeks and engineers and CB geeks so get a kick out of this kind of stuff. I know I do. As you can see, very fine quality construction, and it sounds like it on the air. This thing sounds beautiful. It even sounds better than my Cobra 146, which people tell me sounds really good. This easily beats that. It's almost a mint radio. I cleaned it up and replaced this knob here because it was missing the center volume knob. The only issue is that bump on the corner there. I believe the guy that sold it to me is probably the one who put that bump in there because it was amongst a whole bunch of junk, and I assume he just probably threw it in the back of a truck to make it to the flea market to sell it, and that's probably where that bump came from. Cosmetically, I'd say it's a 7 out of 10. I can ignore that bump. I kind of bought this radio in hopes that it would be one of those weird 23 channel radios that have a PLL chip in them, and I kind of was hoping on that because I saw this peculiar microphone jack which uses one of these quarter-inch stereo phono jacks, and that really reminded me of my Courier Spartan or Spartan Courier, which has an 858 PLL 40 channel sideband chassis, and the chassis looks very similar to this one except for the crystal bank there. And I also remembered there was Cobra, an old Cobra that was 23 channels and had a PLL, so I took a bet and to see if maybe this had a PLL, but nope. Regardless of that, I still really like this radio. I like these old school style radios, and like I said, it sounds and looks beautiful. So the issue with this radio is that I only get about between 200 and 500 milliwatts of power. I can't tell exactly with my meter, but it's so low that I can't even really calibrate my meter. When I go to calibrate the meter, it only makes it about a quarter of the way up, and that's about it. Can't even calibrate. So there's something obviously wrong with the transmitter. I took out these two transistors here, the driver and final, as well as the pre-driver, and they're okay. But the other issue is that I also have a low receive, and so that tells me I've got some kind of other issue with this thing. I already took out the relay and cleaned out the contacts, and the issue remains. So I'm looking at some kind of other issue. I would really like it if somebody could tell me if they know any other radios that use the same chassis, which is a PC-003A chassis, and maybe if somebody else can tell me what other radio used this chassis, I could probably find the service manual, which I could really use so I could fix this radio. Currently I'm using a schematic for a Cobra 138, which I believe is almost the same, plus a few features. And so far I've run into a few differences, so I'd really like to have the proper schematic for this thing, if anybody could help me there. And I also plan to modify the crystal bank so I could at least get channel 38 on this thing. But yeah, there it is, and hopefully we can fix this bugger up.